Huh? Right? It leaves the one who is not free. So slave women, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they did not wear hijab. Like, who else does this leave out? If we said one condition is Islam and the second one is freedom, what is the other freedom? What is the other condition that we can remove? Non-Muslims. You can't expect a non-Muslim woman to wear hijab. Why? Because she is not expected to follow the Sharia. Again, does this mean she can be disrespectful? Absolutely not. How do we determine that? These are social boundaries that we all know and we all determine. Even within our social construct, even within our social community, if there's a mahram woman, if there's a woman I am mahram to who walks in front of me, we have cultural expectations on how she should dress, correct? She doesn't have to wear hijab, but does this mean that she can dress however she wants? Absolutely not. Even though the Sharia guidelines are very minimal concerning that. It is more the social and cultural guidelines that need to be followed in those situations. So if we understand that these are the conditions and how a woman should be dressed, on top of that, is there a had? Is there a had? Is there a punishment Islamically for a woman who doesn't wear hijab? No, there's not. Why? Because you can't tell. It's an individual thing. I'm not saying it's not wajib, and I'm not saying it's not a sin. Please don't misunderstand. I want to be very clear. On the Muslim woman who is free, it is an obligation. She must wear hijab. But if during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, you don't have cases where they stopped women who didn't wear hijab, and the reason was there's no marking on a person. There's no way to tell if a person is free, if a person is Muslim, a person is non-Muslim. They were all Arab. They're all Arab, they all look the same. And when you look at them, you can't tell the difference between them. And saying that, were there some non-Muslims and some slave girls who were beautiful? Statistically, what do you think? Yes, absolutely. I mean, there has to be. If you have a group of women, some of them are going to be beautiful. If that's the case, and if that's the understanding, then the priority goes to our mentality, the priority goes to how we deal with women. The priority goes to how women deal with men. The moment an individual is attracted to a woman or a woman is attracted to a man, what are they obligated to do from the Quran? غض البصر. This is where they're obligated to lower their gaze. Lowering the gaze is a mentality. It is not a physical imposement that happens in the outside world. It is something that happens here. And how many women do we know that wear hijab and don't pray? There are many. Culturally, it happens. There are other societies and other cultures that wear hijab but they don't pray. It's very important, again, ya ikhwan, that our Islam is here, it's in our hearts. And we are not here to impose our Islam on other individuals and on other people. The only thing we have true control over is our personal actions. And how we teach and how we deal with others. This is what needs to change. Our imposing on other people is not going to change anything. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, La ikraha fi d-din. That there is no compulsion in the religion. What does that mean? I am not allowed to force somebody to convert to Islam. How am I allowed to force someone to follow certain rulings? The Islam is the most important thing. If I'm going to force something, I'm going to force the conversion, right? Why? Because that's the most important thing. Like anything less than Islam, I'm not saying it's not important, but is it as important as this individual's entry into it? It's not possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this deen to purify our individual hearts. And if we understand that, and we purify ourselves, and we educate our family, and we educate our community, not impose. Because imposition or forcing someone to do something, the moment that forcing leaves, what happens? The deen leaves. And how many situations do we know? In certain countries in the world, the moment they get on the plane, the hijab, everything comes off. Is that deen? Is that what Islam came to teach? Islam is not forced from here. Islam is built from here. We have to want to do all of these things from our own desire, from our own raghbah, from our own drive, because that is what is true iman. And inshallah we'll continue on this mawdu next week. Wallahu a'lam, sallallahu ala khair khalqi nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.